welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time for the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermorians. I'm your host of the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker, coming at you over the airways on WNTF. Nevermind the Furthermore. Well, folks, before we get into it, you know we have a few shout-outs we have to do. Big thank you, as always, to the Independent Creator Directory. They are the sponsors of this and many other of my programs, as well as Joe Bachman Technologies. Now, I want to talk Indie CD because, folks, the artist formerly known as Twitter is burning to the ground. I don't know if the billionaires are having a secret cage fighting league or anything like that, but it looks pretty grim for old Muskie. Anyhow, are you worried about being deplatformed either because someone said something wrong in your past, or heck, your billionaire arch overlord of your social media platform has aligned his baleful eye to shine its unholy light upon you, incinerating you from its presence because somehow, some way you have damaged the ego of that eldritch entity? Well, friends, you won't find that at the Independent Creator Directory, where if you are a creator, an artist, an author, an editor, musician, all sorts of other types, and you're looking for a safe, reasonable, one-stop shop, not only to have a web presence, but to find folks for, in your fields to work with and to recommend, well, folks, consider joining the Independent Creator Directory. We're also brought to you by, that's the wrong book pile, that's the Corn Shark. Ha-ha! Oh, and don't say that. Corn sharks love to breach. That's how they take food. It's a natural hunting procedure. Don't be cranky. We're brought to you by The Simple Sword, which is the first in the ongoing series of manuals for the Historical Fencing Guild, which I am the founder and guild master. More news on the guild later. But if you want to learn to sword fight in an easy, fast manner with plain, simple English, and you've never held a sword before, this is the book for you. But sometimes swords, and this may be shocking, this may be blasphemous to some, are not the end-all and be-all. Sometimes you just need to ask a question. Sometimes you have to get your point through. With the fighting axe and the simple sword, you can learn the rudiments of these amazing weapons. And speaking of weapon systems, there's always the big Stompy Robots Core rule book. Yes, folks, this is your intro to the wonderful expanding universe of Big Stompy Robots, which has two novels, two games modes, and more coming, all set on the world of Praxis 5, where the wind never stops and neither does the intrigue. Now that that's all been said and done, folks, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to help me stay online, feel free to join the Historical Fencing Guild's Patreon at patreon.com/slash the Historical Fencing Guild to help me keep being able to buy gear for loaners and upgrade my facilities, which are an ongoing battle. But we'll be talking about that too, because I have a lot. Friends, I have a lot of accountability. Some of you may have missed your Friday dosage of yours truly. Actually, the vast majority of you did, because I was not online for either of my programs. Because this Friday, dear friends, viewers, colleagues, Romans, people whom I adore, I was at Twin Oaks Park in New Chicago, along with several important people you'll know, like the aforementioned Joseph Bachman, the beloved Trelena Bachman, and our own Rich Asplund, as well as my beloved wife and my son. And the vast majority of us took part in putting on a warm-up for the play that was The Tempest, as done by the Gary Shakespeare Company. And I get it right now, of course, on the first time after it's already happened. That's fine. That's good. We had a moderate turnout. Can't complain considering it was 111 degrees. At least that's what I think the feels like was. The humidity was insane. I believe my sweat was actually sweating. It was like sweatception, folks. But we still got out there. We fought. I saunted out probably 3 years worth of stress and had a blast. We're trying to see if there's footage. We were filming few things, and my dear friend Richie, who is a great guy, loved dearly, but he makes a better door than a window. And we have, don't know how much of it we have that wasn't blocked by Rich stepping in front of the camera, but it was a good event, and we went out fairly early, met up, fought in the heat, watched the play best we could from where we sat. We didn't want to disrupt or draw attention from the actors. Had some amazing sausages, and then went out to Denny's where we stayed because of the monsoon that hit that evening. The next 2 days were basically recovery for most of us. However, in the background, I did something else that I'm slightly proud of. I've been talking for some time about Through the Thinning Veil, Volume 1, my anthology of paranormal and horror stories. The first draft is done. I'm going to say the first draft is done. Now, when I go through this little volume, I will pick it apart shamelessly, viciously, and make sure that there is that I feel it's rounded and put out. I'll get the opinions of a couple people I know. Not terribly long. None of my work is. That's the benefit of having a ADD creator. I make short things that you can process easily, usually in large font, because I don't see so well. So it's a big deal getting through that first draft. It gives me about a month to get that done per my deadline. My personal deadline, I always try to get at least something out before August 28th. It's just part of my ritual that keeps me going. So that is very close to done. And as soon as I have the editing, proofreading, and goodness, run it by a few people, I'll do the cover art and put that bad boy up on Amazon. It's interesting. It's a mix of fiction, fictionalized experiences, where the events are real, but the name's been changed to protect the individuals. And a few of my own stories, just flat out admitted that this is some of my own stories. It is not by far all of them, and I will likely set another, volume to it at some point. I also have one story that I was writing for it, titled Haints and Hellfire. Haints and Hellfire will not be available for this one because I realized it was too long and it may be a standalone. So that will percolate. It is not currently prioritized. I realized it was too big for this, moved it aside, and I got my rhythm back on the book. So that's, I'd say, 80 to 90% done and dusted. Then I'm going to be taking my expanded version of my old microlight system. This is THACO compatible. If you understand what I said, you need to take your vitamins and your medicine and ease yourself up in the morning, okay? Be gentle with you folks. Us graybeards and grognards need to be taken care of. Now, I am, of course, I'm not first generation grognard. I'm a second generation. I started in the late 80s. So, I don't want to claim things that aren't mine. But I'm still, much like the rest of my status, I am a man between generations. Born in a liminal time in an uncertain world that has not proved to solidify for me all that much. But, so we got the new book out. We have the new book coming. Hopefully should be published by the 28th. My game is popping along because I'm trying to actually go back in my head and preserve how I used to game and then make that into a small viable volume. And then I will be done. I have art for that tucked away somewhere. Heaven help me. And then I will be releasing that and starting to do to finish up my notes on Dusk Falls over Ravencliff Gorge. That will not be done by the 28th. That may be done by the end of the year if the world comes round and everything works right. However, I have several other projects in the works, but they are all bubbling slowly towards completion, having fermented in the mind of a blessed lunatic, being me. Let's see what else is coming. I have one art piece I have to do specifically, and I've done a couple variants because I put far more work into an art commission than I intended, and I'm going to take one at a time. So we'll knock that off, and then I'll probably be reaching out to Kelly Austin to get a better idea of what she wants, because I'd love to get a piece of that sweet action on her worlds, because she does some amazing things. Now, I've had to stop my journey through the Rembrandt Stratagem, which is the first of the Bishop Kincaid files. Not that anything happened, but I realized that the new edition is coming out, and while I rarely get time to sit and read, firstly, I am very excited about the revised edition that's coming out. So I want to be able to keep the story straight. So I've halted the reading on the original till I get to the revised. And friends, because I've been trying to get work done both in my business life and my personal life, I've been well in the realm of podcasts. Now, I want to highlight a couple that I've found great joy in, not because I'm getting any money for it, and some are quite old. I'm often late to the party on such things. But Old Gods of Appalachia has been on hiatus while the creators go on this wonderful nationwide tour doing live shows, which, due to my finances and situation, I could not attend. It is tragic knowing they were about 100 miles away and I couldn't go. But they will be coming back very soon. I believe at the end of August with more Old Gods. That's a horror anthology podcast. And as such, it's not suitable for all listeners. Not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. But I found one called the Penumbra Podcast, and the Penumbra Podcast is broken into two chunks. There are individual little ones between stories of Juno Steele, a detective on Mars. And my wife and I have been enjoying those greatly. I am also about a season and a half deep into the uh, the Bright sessions. Now, I'm mentioning these podcasts because we are at a point where the strike will cause a lull in entertainment. It's no longer avoidable, given how long it's gone. That is okay, friends. For many of us, we may see this as a negative and a tragedy for the people who don't understand that folks just want to get paid for their work, and that actors and stagehands and everybody else deserve uh, to be paid for their work as much as anybody else who does a job. Uh, so I'm supporting that. So how do you support that? Well, I have this lovely idea, and that is while all this is going on, why not delve extra hard into independent creative media? Now, in my comments list, which I will be getting to in a minute, we have some of the best and brightest, amazing creatives, authors, artists, uh, musicians, blessed lunatics, one and all, and as such, my humble people. Now, it is my fond hope that several of them make audio versions of their works, because especially Bishop Kincaid, good lord. But and I'd love to see some full, well, see in my head because I'm listening to full cast recordings of, say, Dan Hollifield's work. I mean, how terrible would a audio version of the Mad Gas or Mattoon County be? I mean, one wonders these things. I do, but look into that. This is a great time to just step away from the if you haven't already, which most of us have, the major broadcast television services, and start just looking for things that are fun. The other thing is it's a great time to look at older programs because I'm having a good bit of fun with something called The Protectors. That I love Robert Vaughn, and it is an early '70s, and I mean this with love, but a dumber, shorter version of the Avengers, if that makes sense. It's somewhere on the panel of deep thought between the Avengers and Thunderbirds. You know, a Super Marination. I mean that it's great fun, uh, and I delight in great fun things. It's just one of those things. I enjoy the silly, the abstract, and the bizarre. This is why I love the original Batman. When I say original, I'm referring to Adam West. I know there are several other much older versions, but you know what I mean. So if you're on Prime, go look into that. It's a lot of fun. But I just like to give some recommendations, both larger scale and small scale, to try and get you guys as consumer nature, the part of you that brings media into your minds and hearts, a little tempted. Maybe we can change and upgrade the palette. I know I love hearing from you guys what you engage in, especially things you're fans of that maybe you don't. The rest of the world may not know about. And yes, I'm all about bringing up the little guys because that's what we're here for. But also, dear friends, I want to remind you of some other flavors that are floating around in the middle sphere of things, somewhere between the big blockbusters and us folks scraping on the bottom. So, before we get into all the folks who are destined to greatness, far more important than yours truly, I'm going to run an ad of someone else who is destined for greatness. and then we'll drop into your comments because your comments are what this show is about. Oh, and I'll answer the questions that are family informing about my T-shirt because it's a good T-shirt.
Hi, I'm Joe Bachman with Behind the Code, Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch on the Independent Creator Directory pages. On this show, you'll be able to watch me go through and update the Independent Creator Directory website with new features or new members depending on what we have going on that week. Again, that's Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch on the Independent Creator Directory page. Joe Bachman again with The Burning is Love on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, also on the Independent Creator Directory Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch pages. To find out more about the Independent Creator Directory, visit indiecd.org to find other great authors, artists, game designers, and live streamers. On this stream, you'll get to watch me go through and do various word burning projects that I put on theburningislove.com. I look forward to seeing you guys there and hope you have a great day.
And Joe, I hope you're in the comments and having a great day. If not, brother, you take it easy. Now let's go into the chat because that's where it's at. Carl has been saying, hello, everyone. Hello, Uncle Carl. Oh, no, we are way behind in the chat because we were hanging with BKM. Time to fill this puppy up, folks. Hey, I kind of like easing into Monday mornings. I get to chat with Brian K. Morris on his show, No Warning, which may or may not be there at 9 a.m. on his channel, but you should check anyway. Accountability, not much this week. We've had sinus and heat issues. Maybe this week we will get something done. Hey, enduring that it's a real thing, especially this weekend. I am so, mentioning the heat. The heat was unspeakable at the event. It was probably the last time I was that hot, I overdid it and nearly killed myself. And I am not being hyperbolic or exaggerating. I literally went into, I collapsed from heat exhaustion. And the people treating me were trying to get me down, and they kept trying to submerge. After the cold shower of agony didn't get me to cool down fast enough, and stripping me in front of a large number of, at that time, SCA royal types, because there's nothing like being paraded before the queen in your boxers. But they dropped me into a 14-foot pool and kept trying to dunk my head to cool me down, which would have probably caused me to stroke out. Thankfully, my good buddy John Miner, who was an EMT, I believe still at the time, yoinked me out and got me cooled down in a safer manner. But I do put a mild curse on whoever stole my brooch. I don't envy you. That being said, hey, Witzman dude. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Will this please highlight? There we go. At least we're working on Donna's next book cover. Wonderful. And while you're being covered, be careful because the smoke is supposed to come back to our area in spades tomorrow. Hey, Carlene Gal. I'm not promising anything, but watching you let the chickens loose and checking their water and feed. Putting on my like early so I won't be the last one today. Thank you. And guys, please like this. We are fighting the algorithms. A chicken's bok bok and a turkey gobble gobble. Good morning again. Good morning again, Grant. You've had some really amazing guests come up on your show. And hi, Dawn. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I hope your cats are well. Um, I was going to run an ad for Grant, but I don't think Grant is currently crowdfunding anything. So I'm not sure what ad I would run. Watching the files for a friend, and then there was a police search on the bike trail. Oh my! Grant and Dunn. Dawn. Hey, Grant, we got greetings. Oh, a quick note. I may be culling some of the older ads from my from StreamYard. This is why I say please put them on the ad folder, the secret ad folder, because I'm at nearly half capacity. I deleted all my recording videos, and I'm still at half capacity for my space due to the ads that I have that I'm running for folks. So there's going to be a little house cleaning. And if you don't have your folder up, if you send it to me directly or something weird, I may not have access to it. Also, to anyone who's been having me use, who tries to have me use Dropbox, my Dropbox does not work. It never has. Something has gone wrong. It is very unreliable. So please, if you want to submit something to me, let me know. I'll make a folder in my Google Drive, and we'll do it through Google Drive because that works better for me. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. It's just Dropbox truly despises me. I have no idea why. I'm wondering if we'll have an unexplained mystery in our area. Of course, it will end in a story. Be careful. Don't get too close to it, Carl. Creative folks have already started making a story in their heads. Absolutely. And what's scary is it kind of sniffs a little bit. It reminded me of one of the stories in my upcoming anthology. Working title, The Trail to Nowhere. Oh, it's so good! Carl, that is so good! Oh, I feel it in my soul, sir. You know us well, Dawn. My brain went to green room material. Well, not all of us is full green room. Let's see, here we go. Socks and bite socks? Okay. Hey, Nick. I'm glad. I love seeing you guys in my chat. Omniversal. Hey, Damien, thank you so much for the conversation. Damien's starting to talk me through some formatting problems. I want to thank him because one of the biggest roadblock to a lot of my plans and getting things how I want is being able to format publications the way I want. And after some, we'll say, behind the scenes debacles I've had, is a skill I just need to develop. And apparently part of it is I've been using the wrong tools. So I will be looking for advice on the right tools and techniques from Damien over at Omniversal, which I'm incredibly thankful for. Please set me up a link into the secret ad folder for what you do, Damien. I need to promote you more. Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Nick. That's sad, Damien. The ads looked interesting. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people were let down by that. I'll be honest. I didn't even make it through Kenobi, and I love Star Wars, and I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I just could not make it through that. I need to go into it. Got the news that Doctor Who will not be on BBC America. Might have to cancel some channels. Yes, Doctor Who is moving. Now, let me think, because it's to one of the ones we'll say I have access to. I don't believe it's Prime. I think it's moving to Max. If somebody can fill that in, I'd be much appreciated. Loki, it looks great. Yes, Secret Invasion should have been a special presentation, not a whole series. And what's funny There is a series of not quite episode length, not quite shorts, filling in between the movies of what was Agent Coulson up to. And they are amazing, and I didn't even realize it. So please, if you have Disney, look those up. There's one where like Agent Coulson ends up at a gas station on the way to the whole incident with the hammer. Yeah. We need more short stories like Roots in that. Yeah, I can see that. Hey, Damien. We are so sorry to miss the sword demo. Dang, Sinitis and Charge. I will say this, and I mean this with love. It was so hot that I am very glad that a large number of you didn't make it because it was potentially life-threatening. I am not being facetious. It took us quite a bit to recover, and we were pushing liquids and doing everything right. Anybody with worse off than us would have been, I mean, people could have been hospitalized. It was, and when I saw the costumes that the Shakespearean actors ended up wearing for parts of their play, I did not envy them because it was quite toasty. Although, Carl, you missed a large quantity of nymphs. And you know, folks who know me know I'm a sucker for a good nymph. Hello, Donna. How goes it? It goes, Damien. It's Monday, but I'm retired, so it's all good. And it's that. From the desk of Small Press Publisher. And look at that. I'm hitting him at right about the bottom of the hour. We got Jody in the house. Let's drop an ad for Jody real quick, and we'll run his classic.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. And let's see. Hey, Joe D. Accountability. Couldn't do the animation on Saturday due to conventions that were had. We'll do it this week. Do it all. That's wonderful, though. That's wonderful. I'm glad you're doing animation. Ooh, yeah, on the topic of the strike. Well, I totally support what's going on with the strike, both the writers and actors. And I've had some people get really crunchy about it because they think actors are, only, they're playing. They don't see it as work. And that's BS. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I mean it, the best thing for anyone in any form of labor, business, conventional work, contract work, is discuss your wages. Discuss your wages. Discuss your, what your budgets look like when you're hiring people. Discuss what you ask for. People need to know this information. When you're working in remember, at least in Indiana, I believe in America, it is illegal for them to try to prevent you from discussing your wages or to punish you for that. Know your labor laws, because we're finding out that She-Hulk may have been a divisive show, but I believe the writer for any given episode got like $300 for it. That's disgusting. Marvel, Disney made buku bucks on that, and the writer didn't get it. That's insulting. What actors get paid is ridiculous. And what's going on right now, and one thing that's valid for them and valid for us as creators to really be paying attention to this, is the use of AI and the use of preserved likenesses. So we are at a point where, through sampling, there's a whole agency, there are several, I believe, dedicated to being able to rent out dead celebrities, to essentially be able to say, so you want John Wayne to sell your beer. It will cost this much, and then you can use his likeness to make a CGI John Wayne to sell your beer or pizza or whatever, or Marilyn Monroe or whoever celebrities they have. Well, that was okay when they were dead, but now studios are trying to get the likenesses enforced through contracts, authors and other creatives, to put their image, their voice files, so that they can just mass produce whatever they want later. Now, there are some horrendous issues with consent. There are horrendous issues with, being paid for what you do. Quick tip from Nick: if you take Diet Shasta orange, and it has vitamin C, and Diet Shasta cream soda, you mix them together in a big bottle, you get a very nice orange and cream that has no calories and is considerably less expensive than my preferred orange and cream. Hashtag not sponsored, but Shasta, if you're watching and you want to sponsor, please do. The other good thing with this is, and I forgot about this bottle, I have to leave the spout open, is it can become self-powering because of an accidental science project I did. But where I left the bubbly pop in here too long, it didn't vent. The bubbles made pressure, pushed the liquid up out the tube, and shot me in the face with, it wasn't Mountain Dew. What was it? Sprite. The more you know. But we have to be careful, because imagine a leader slipped into a KDP, or a publisher thing that says, by the way, by publishing with us, you give us the rights to create derivative works of your stuff based on AI. Because what happened to the artists on pages like DeviantArt and other things, where the AIs were unethically sourced. And I want to remind you, because I do believe eventually they will attain proper sentience. I don't blame the AI itself. It isn't, just like it's not a kid's fault what they're taught. It's, at this stage anyway, it's not the AI's fault where it got its source material. But this is scary, because this both can, they're like, well, we won't use it for the big people. No, we're planning for, if you've been an extra once, you'll be an extra in everything, but you won't get any money for it. And unfortunately, as fun as fame may be, likes and being in movies without pay does not put beans on the table. And I believe if somebody's going to use what I do, I should theoretically get reimbursed for it. I do not do so enough for YouTube to yet, but I'm hoping. These are things we need to track, because, I don't know about trickle-down economics, but I will say that poop runs downhill, and those of us at the bottom better have big umbrellas. An audio version of Mad Gasser? Oh, holy moly. I mean, even if you just had it read by somebody who's talented and available, like, I don't know, what is that lovely, fluffy floof of an audio creator? I mean, Skunk Rocker? I'm sure for a fair rate he would do at least a dramatic reading of it. If not, make arrangements to set up a whole Foley thing. Let's see. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO booed at Boston University graduation CEO strike. Yes, excellent. And I'm sorry if I got into a little bit of the news, but I do think that affects us. Accountability. 2/3 done with the new revised version of the module for RPG. Converting it to a one-player scenario help. Thanks again, Nick. That way I can be more direct in description. I think that will be the best way for how your system works. Morning, Joe. Morning, Grant. Morning, Grant. Accountability, getting the memoirs of the Morbid files together. I still want to run that ad. I love that ad. See, I need you guys. One thing I want you guys to think about is making evergreen ads that aren't necessarily about being crowdfunded. So a variant ad that I can swap out for, say, the memoirs for the Morbid, that links instead of a crowdfunding site where they can download it, eternally, or something that highlights an ongoing project in a way that's always highlighted, the way Life on Korra is, or Jody's that I run for Jody McPhee, things like that. Great, Grant. Accountability, and I'm sorry, I've been talking too much today. Accountability. Can't wait for 5 p.m. Friday. We'll be off the 9 to 5 for a week. It's staycation time. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Accountability. Got to fight a little. Yes, you did. It finally got the right hydration balance yesterday. We're gonna have to work on you, Rich. We gotta get you drilling more. And Friday night especially will remind me. Get on get in the chat on the Historical Fencing Guild, and we will talk about training when you don't have the space to properly train. That's great, Jody. Hey, Rich, he lives. Yay. Got to see a little bit more of Nick than usual. Yes, speaking of, you want to see more of me? Check this out. Bigfoot saw me, but nobody believes him. That was a gift. A lovely lady by the name of Tiffany at my wife's library is a bit of a squatcher. And she got this shirt for me, and I absolutely adore it. But yes, I like being able to be seen once in a while in different places. I had to step back from a lot of my broadcasts, but we're getting there. Donna says 7 likes, 7 watching, 3 likes. Come on, people. Yes. Agent Zero, good morning. Good morning, Agent Zero. I haven't got to talk to you in a long time, Justin. You've been on my mind. He is the creator of Chrome Dog, an incredibly good. It has that 90s independent comic feel, which for, being a person of my vintage, that is absolutely my jam. How are you doing, sir? Let's see. Hey, everybody's greeting Zero, as they should. Agent Zero rocks. Catching back up on the chat, I set my phone down while doing stuff. It happens. Yes, Disney Plus. Sorry about that, but I will say there's some good stuff on Disney Plus, especially if you don't have to pay for it. Doctor Who will be partially on Max. All the new stuff, Disney Plus. I see. Oh, Kenobi. First episode. The first episode just doubling down on Frankenstein's monster truck. Arg! Vader afraid of fire. Donna Carly. It's a way to treat yourself for upcoming birthday. That's a good thought. From Desco Small Press Publisher, Donna says, any reason to treat yourself is a great reason. Yes, and I have that whole birthday thing coming down the pipe fairly soon, too. Hail, Donna and Carl. And I miss nymphs? No! And they were lovely nymphs. They were nymphy nymphs. I'm a mild authority. Gotta love me some nymphs. Morning, everyone. Good morning, Blue Teddy. I'm so excited to see the start of your new SCP field, SCP game. I want to watch the playthrough video, but I haven't been able to yet because unfortunately I'm not sure if I don't think it's Xander safe, so I have to squeeze it in where I can. I am looking forward to it though, and that's over on Dr. Crow's Carnival. I think that's how you line it up. Anyway, throw the link in. It's great fun. And we're at a good point to run an ad. So let's run an ad real quick. And wow, I have several. I am going to have to purge, but let's run one I have not ran in a bit.
Hey there, everyone. This is Donna Carlene. Want some romance mixed in with a dead body or more? Did you enjoy my Hunter's Ridge series? Set in a small town in Alabama, it's the story of Northern Rider computer tech Carly Simone and the love of her life, Captain B.J. Martin of the Hunter's Ridge PD. But life in a small town is not all roses and beer, as Carly's expertise in true-life crime-telling makes her the Hunter's Ridge murder expert. And then there's nowhere to go dancing except to Dixie with his country music. But Rocker Carly can adjust, can't she?
Yeah, Donna's making a wonderful world of books, and I hope she keeps at it for some time. Everybody's greeting Blue Teddy. And Grant finally liked, and so should you. Thank you, folks. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, because I'm trying to build up the little guys the best I can. Let's see. Omniversal says, or the fact they used AI to create secret invasion credits, free numerous lawsuits from artists having their work used in title credits, no credit or pay. Well, that's what they want to do. And that's why us independent little creatures crawling around making what we can with what we've got matter. Very soon it will not be pretty, but issue 0 of Paul Bunyan Kaiju Slayer will be released. Now, that art was done before my hands were as recuperated as they are, hence the issue 0, but I want to get that out there. That is also on my list of things to do. And I am saying that so that the IP is built and preserved a little bit, because I have plans for it. Waves. Back from QuadCon 2 for a weekend. Yes, you were very busy, Cindy. And don't worry, I'll run an ad for you. Actors will have to copyright trademark their likenesses to protect themselves if they lose these negotiations. And correct, it's not the AI itself. The issue is about who has rights source material to create products from AI. And it's a way for businesses to bypass artists, because artists have these problems like wanting to be paid, having morals about what their art is used for. Things like that could be problematic, and we need to be very aware of it. Skunk would be perfect for the Mad Gasser. Cindy says the Apple free AI audiobook creator ends up owning all your rights to the tale. That sounds diabolical and unsurprising for Apple. That is why I do not use Apple products. On my tablet today, so no links, FBI will lock me out for a day or two. Hey, we're just happy to have you here. Take the time you draw all the links around. Talk about your day a little bit, Cindy. We know you're always rushed, and we love hearing about you as an individual and what you're up to, despite your wonderful kindness of always promoting everyone else. Okay, and yourself. Just ease on in. Now that I've said that, I'm sure she's done a whole bunch of the promotion a couple clicks down. Now, when it comes to the acting side, studios own the characters being portrayed, but not the actor's likeness for said character. Sad that Disney to have the rights of James Earl Jones's voice now. Now, I believe, as I recall, that he volunteered that. He set that up so that he could, because he is of an age where he's made enough money that he's taken care of, and he wants to give back to the Star Wars community. If that's because I've heard it a couple ways, and if that's the truth, I have to applaud him as a fan, even if it is a dangerous precedent. And let me know. I know this has been a little more newsy. If this is still stuff that interests you, please make sure that you're interested in this type of content. Nevertheless, get Nick's books from Lazan. Check out his art on DeviantArt. Check out all his YouTube projects. Then go to Patreon where you can support his efforts to help people be safely dangerous. I appreciate that. Then go get Brian's books. Sign up for his newsletter. Check out his Patreon where you can get preview of Volcana 2. Amy Hale has cool books on Lazan too. Well, folks, I have to go. Everyone have a great day. That's a little early for you, but okay. I hope you're having a good one. It must be the additional chickens, but I understand that. My son takes care of our chickens. Before I forget, have a great day, Carl. Our Roll Cruz is working on Animal Eye 5. Yes. Check out his own art on DeviantArt. Then some customized work for Subscribestar. Time to feed. To let loose the chickens and feed the cats. Later's all. Thanks for running my ad. It's a pleasure. We got a little delayed anyway due to work changes and family vacations. Should be back this weekend, next weekend at the latest. YouTube.com/Dr. Crow's Carnival Comics. Thank you. Bye, Donna. Accountability. The editor have the rest of the RPG as a predator. As a preview, as a predator. God, I'm tired. What to expect. Who would have thought she is a tabletop player? So she may give it a whirl while the module is being revised. Love to see it. It is a niche game, but you are very strong in the niches you preserve. Get some advice on helping out the hurting with Victoria Adams books on Lazan. Check out Brian Rodman's comics. Paul Bunyan Kaiju Slayer is a great, close enough, no worries. Thank you. That's why, even though the art is kind of inferior, it's very much almost an ash can. I'm going to be putting it up on Amazon, minimal as a PDF, but I'd like to see it in print, just because I think that's fairly cool. And then what happened was it was meant to be a fun little project that came through my head, and I was just going to kind of float it by some people I wanted to see how they handle my IPs. We were doing business. And it was meant to be kind of a disposable one. And it didn't get handled, and things didn't work out the way I wanted it to, which is fine. That happens. And Mandy, my wife whom I love, fell in love with the IP. So I am obligated to do more with it. So I will. But first I have to get that. And since I did it in 8.5 tall, 5x5, 5.5 wide, I'll be releasing it in statement format, which is one of my favorite formats to do things. This size, because this is the size of most of my sketchbooks, assuming I can get through the formatting hobgoblins that KDP provides, but we shall see. Jody McPhee has some cool comics you should check out. Aaron Casey is editing a pile of my tales to get them out into the world. Still haven't sorted out the title or cover art. That's still exciting. There are many performers that have been granting rights and recording dialogue for use. The thing is that amount of performer like it gets versus a nobody. That's a point too. And that is part of the point where the price discrepancy And I believe, and if this offends folks, I am okay with it. I believe that anyone who does the job should get paid. They should get paid fairly, and they should get paid justly. No one should do the work and starve, especially when someone else is prospering. That's immoral. That's pure greed, and I cannot abide that. It's economic bullying, is another way of looking at it. So be sure to create your things, be sure to get things out there. But also be sure to watch your P's and Q's, because it seems like everybody's trying to get something from you. Kloppas is back on the Animal Eye mobile game. The publisher has agreed to trim the initial release back from 4 to 5, down from 21 playable characters, and 3-ish mini games instead of 4 to start. I'm pushing for an agile methodology instead of a waterfall. I.e., release a playable version with limited features, use feedback to plan expansions that instead of trying to create the perfect game that might fail hard and cost lots of money. That is brilliant. What can I say? It's the exact same platform that I've used with Big Stompy Robots. Which reminds me, this week my studies start back up. I have to get back in that class that I got set up to take on improving game design. I knew there was something I was forgetting this week, but I'm glad to hear that, because that's really, I'm rereading it. That's really good to hear. You want to, a lot of games have been released incomplete and malfunctioning. I would rather see a game come out with less features that works and has the primary features. I'm still looking at you, Halo Infinite. I'm still looking at the fact that they had failed local co-op campaigns when we were promised it. That's literally why I bought it. I'm still mad. I'm still working on a suitable arrangement. I'm still continuing to release scenes in Patreon. Wonderful. And Blue Teddy's going to try and make some money. Everyone have a lovely day. Everyone, I hope you have a lovely day too, Blue Teddy. And in fact, we're nearing the top of the hour, so I'm going to run a couple more commercials. And then we'll get back to the chat, because I'm okay with that. Let's see. Let's do.
Hi, this is Kat. During the school year, I'm Mrs. Rothermel, but otherwise, I'm Rock and Roll Art Goddess, writing about my past and filming the present. I need you to join my Rock and Roll Art army and to check out my merch on Zazzle.com. What started out as journal therapy is now 4 books, I see, and an Instagram account to blow off steam, becoming a book, with another to do the same. A short film for a friend. No, this is not the end. Peace, love, and let me art.
The works that some of the people I know make move me and impress me, and I'm really happy to see them. But I love when I see people put light out into the universe, because right now we are in a time of darkness. I'm not gonna lie. It's still there. There are environmental threats, there are political threats. The world can be pretty ominous. And I think those of us who have the power to address such things should. And those of us who have the power to counter the darker aspects of it, to provide light and hope, even if it's just in form of a mild distraction, well, there's value in that. There's extreme value. I think, of course, back to Brian K. Morris's tenure running this program during the dark days of the pandemic. He was a voice in the dark, a light by which we could set our days and keep moving, an inspiration towards motivation during these long, dark tea times of the soul. And I hope to hold a glimmer of that. Paul Bunyan has always been one of my favorite pieces of folklore. Absolutely. I love the tall tales. I have grown weary of deconstructionism. I have grown tired of seeing my heroes and the characters I loved turned time and time again into villains because it's different, or because of agendas. I just want to see the good guys win sometimes. And I know that's not realistic. I don't get into fiction for realism. Reality can be quite trying, and there is a time to step back, to escape the prison of reality into fantasy. And sometimes and I don't know who said it, but it's one of those powerful quotes that stayed with me. Fairy tales aren't important because they tell us dragons exist. Fairy tales are important because they tell us that they can be beaten. But no, I love Paul Bunyan, and I did a little short. It was almost more to practice the art of comic design in a very rudimentary level, and as physical therapy for my hands to try to get back what I had. And I am hoping that I get to do more with it, because I do have an expanded line. I have pieces of that. And I am sorry I'm so dynamic haired right now. Normally I'd wear one of my things when my hair was doing this. But we hit a point where, heaven help me, all my head things are in the wash due to being necessary for the adventures this weekend. But yeah, it's great folklore. In the Tai Chi universe, I passed the fast form. Congratulations! Yes! I'm on to Tui Shao. Push hands. Fixed step first. The goal is to use some techniques to off balance your opponent. In fixed step, the first person who has to take a step to stay on balance loses. Trick is mass matters, and I'm literally 115 pounds fully dressed with my boots on. Both instructors are bigger guys. This could get interesting. Cindy, and I tell you this from my own humble studies in it, it will serve you so well to oppose such a greater force in a controlled setting. I dabbled in push hands, and I was learning it from John Miner, who at the time was, 6'4", and claimed to be 250, but was really closer to about 354. Big boy. And I learned a lot, because when you don't have the strength to direct oppose a threat, learning how to delay and then break your opposition to redirect them is incredibly valuable. And you're going to find far more often than not the unrooting will come at them attempting to overpower you, thinking they have, and realize you've just moved. And when your little resistance goes away, the deflection will be very interesting. So I think push hands was one of the best philosophical discussions I ever had, because it teaches you at a physical point in your body how to respond to the loud and aggressive vexations that come upon you. It really is brilliant. And Omniversal says, if we give up our fiction and lose hope in it, what kind of world will we create out there? A grim, brutalist place. And I fear that we are being conditioned toward that. That there are powers and principalities that seek to turn us into a grayscale world of button-pushing automatons who ingest, the food that we are told, ingest the music that we are told, ingest the ideas that we are told, and radiate a simple obedience like chattel. And I believe that there should be true music and joy and beauty and hope and a little bit of interest in the system that is necessary. And I'm not condoning extremes. One need not condone extremes. But one should move towards hope and dreams, move towards kindness when it is unpopular to do so, move towards simplicity when we are told that we must always consume, self-sufficiency, and in something, in anything, little notches to make your world a little better. And I'm going to be here to try to help people along that path. And this is not, I do not condone criminality or viciousness, or honestly, I don't even like to shout. In a perfect world, I'd never have to raise my voice. But create at a level that's comfortable. And create for the sake of the creation, for the sake of what you're doing. Now, if someone uses it for profit, you deserve the profit. That's fair. That's just. And no one in this world of plenty that we have, in this land of freedom, in this time of technological wonder and advancement, no one should be in fear of losing their home. No one should be homeless. No one should be hungry, and no one should be without medical care. These are my beliefs. Take them as you will. And what I can do about it right now is tell stories, is make my manuals as cheap as Amazon will let me, is give what I can, when I can, as I can. And I'm at a point in my life, it's interesting that we bring this up. It's a point in my life where I'm making certain contingencies for my obsolescence. I've always worked towards a certain level of design obsolescence. I don't ever want to be irreplaceable in the vast majority of lives. I'm my son's father. In that, I'm fairly irreplaceable. I am my wife's husband. In that, I am fairly irreplaceable. Those are the roles I have a large number of responsibility to my brothers, to my parents, perhaps, as well, of course. But in everything else, I try to build up people in such a way that if they continue to associate, it's not out of need, but out of desire. And if they outgrow me to move on to better, brighter things, I do not claim ownership of their triumphs, because those are their triumphs. They did it. If I'm a footstool, glory to being a footstool, but I do like to see the light coming off them sometimes. It's how I know I've done something in this universe. That my unexpectedly extended stay here, thus far, has been a net positive. That's all I'm shooting for. So that, when I get to the other side, if and when I'm judged, I can say, I know I screwed up, but I tried my best, and I hope I did some good. Because a lot of those folks are far more important karmically than yours truly. Now, we had a comment dump, so I have to find where I was. Cindy Koepp's trying to make jerky today. Oh my! I found a recipe I mutated to make edible for me. Tell me how it goes. Damien grew up in Minnesota, very familiar with Paul and Babe. Well, I will tell you rather quickly that my telling of the story is got a couple tweaks only Nick could think of. And that Paul and Babe, God, you have no idea how funny that is, may be joined with some other folklore friends as the story goes on. But I will try to get that out for you guys very soon. Cindy Koepp says the headache that started late Saturday night is backing off. Not gone yet, but getting there. I hope that moves out of you and that, you can stay hydrated and feel better and get clear-headed, Cindy, because, I love you, darling. I want to see you have the best. Oh, there's a gal in Tai Chi class who's experienced in Kung Fu, but just starting Tai Chi. She is my learning sparring, and push hands would help her, so we might pair up. She's closer to my mass. So that should help us. That's delightful. That is delightful. Amen, brother. Well, I try. The big griffin found a home yesterday. It was starting to show wear from being stuffed in the box and carted around, so I'm glad that he left with someone who will enjoy it. I'm so glad because that's so cool. The prototype Dragon Dice bag that got so much negative feedback with the last two shows also what it's all about finding the right I'm sorry, I almost said about dang time, and then like music took over in my head. The right customer will love what you put out there. Made 4 wrist wyverns. One I made Saturday night. All 4 went home. Well, see, that's what you're talking about. Now you know what people want to see. I also sent a dragon hat home. Then another few folks came by to see if I had another one. Price tag scared them off. Well, that's the balance with the cost. Fiber arts are very expensive to do, and the time is so high. Oh, it's like the cost of a real handmade quilt would be just absolutely prohibitive if you factor in a reasonable hourly rate. And that's something I would love to do a show on. I would love to have folks do a show or a program. I'm not even sure how it would work, but talking about, you guys' rate for doing things, your page rate, your the rate for how you calculate for arts and crafts like that. Because I find it fascinating. It's something I don't know nearly enough about. But I'm going to let me run an ad, and then I'll probably wrap up because we've run a little late today. Tiny Travels is going to be an amazing project by the just delightful Mike Jimmy Lorsha DeBron. He's literally one of my favorite people. Also, while we're here, there's a lot of stuff coming out by Glenn B. Fleming, so please follow him as well. I haven't talked about him. We've had some technical issues with his ads. And like I said, I have to go through and do a bit of cleanup on the ads and images that I have up here because we need more room. So we're going to keep that in mind. Let's see what else we have. I need to plan out what amigurumi and some critters to make next. I definitely want some wrist wyverns and a dragon hat or two. Might start spooky day or other holiday stuff. But gargoyle pattern for a sewn critter, it's huge though. I do love gargoyles. I mean, there's a bunch over there. There's a bunch up there on my wall of cool. Folks, gargoyles are good things. Okay, well, I'm off. Have fun. I'm off to cook some more food. Have fun with that. I might be off to cook some food soon, too. So, guys, with that, let's call it. It's been a great program. Thank you for hanging out with me for an hour and 15. Support all the wonderful people who came up in the chat, guys, and get creating, get writing, get drawing. Do what you love, because you can always edit it. You can always improve it, but you can't edit a blank page. I love you. Expect more from me both throughout this week, Wednesday, for Nevermind the Furthermore. And also keep an eye on Amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert, because I am planning new releases soon. And we're not even talking the trademark soon that may be in any long length of time. Stuff is coming, friends. I love you. You should love you too. Toodles.